Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to discuss how you can use foreshadowing in your adventures. I talk about foreshadowing a lot, so I thought it was only right that I dedicate an entire video to it. Foreshadowing is an amazing storytelling tool, as it is one of the most effective ways to build anticipation in your sessions. What are the different types of foreshadowing techniques, and exactly how do you bake them into your game? Authorial voice. Though TTRPGs differ from novels in that they lack a single narrative voice, a dungeon or game master can mirror this technique through their own descriptions. A simple statement like, "This tournament will be remembered for years to come," hints that something is on the horizon, and maybe it's ominous. Foreshadowing like this helps create tension, while leaving lots of room for the adventure to breathe. Perhaps nothing happens after all, and the DM was just using a little bit of misdirection. Example: before the grand tournament, the DM narrates, "The banners snapped in the wind. Something was in the air that day, be it glory or regret." This primes the players to start mentally preparing for an event that may or may not happen. Keeping a diary. By diarising events with letters, messages, or journaled rumours spread by conniving NPCs, GMs can foreshadow major upcoming events. Marking dates on calendar, for an example, is a great way to highlight important future plot points. Their purpose is to create a sense of excitement, dread, or intrigue. Example: a ship captain's ledger notes a secret meeting with an unknown guest. Coincidentally, there are rumours that a band of smugglers are receiving help from a traitor. Do the players stand a chance of breaking apart a sophisticated smuggling ring with deeper organised crime connections? Or is this captain perhaps concealing a personal matter, such as an affair? Props and abilities. Chekhov's gun is one of the most well-known foreshadowing tools. What it means is, if a gun is introduced in the first act, it needs to go off by the last. Otherwise, what's the point of introducing the physical or metaphorical gun? With regards to adventure writing, any significant item should have a payoff. In TTRPGs, and in particular Dungeons & Dragons, we are spoiled with a range of magical and cursed items that we can weave into our stories. The same goes for abilities and skills. As a master storyteller, how could you weave in a particular character's feat into your plot? Example: the party searches the body of a warlock they've just knocked unconscious and discover a very ornate key. However, they haven't seen any lock that this key fits, but you never know. They may stumble across an ancient vault in the depths of a castle ruin that so happens to have a lock that matches this key. You can see the key's introduction early in the story feels intentional rather than coincidental. It was important enough for the warlock to be carrying it on their person after all, so it should have some payoff later in the story. Spark. A spark happens when two or more characters insult or wound one another and walk away. This unresolved exchange, whether hostile or something more like an unfulfilled promise, sets up later conflict. There is, however, an alternative friendly tension that is used in romance plots, for example. We see the use of tension clearly in many films, and often it's what's left unsaid that propels the plot forward as we wait for that resolution. Of course, you want this level of anticipation or intrigue for your adventures too. Example: a rogue is haggling over the cost of a silk shipment with a merchant. As the merchant throws his arms up and down in exasperation, the rogue abruptly leaves, but swipes the merchant's ornate pocket watch. Later, that same merchant, unbeknownst to the rogue, is friends with the dockmaster, who makes the rogue's departure more difficult when they want to leave on their ship. So, by linking previous altercations to present dilemmas, you keep players engaged and thinking about the consequences of their actions. Before we move on to the next type of foreshadowing, if you found this video helpful, or even entertaining, please do like and subscribe, as it's a great way to support the channel. Anyway, back to the video. Concern. NPCs who are authority figures, or in other instances family members, may express concern, or fail to do so at a pivotal moment. All of these actions are powerful indicators of what lies or may not lie ahead. A GM might open a scene with an NPC expressing dread, which could encourage the players to act more cautiously. Example: a veteran fighter NPC tells the players, "This is far too quiet, something's not right." Later, the group walks into an ambush. The tension that was planted earlier with this statement was suddenly validated when a group of bandits springs on our heroes. Expression. NPCs can foreshadow events through their body language and emotional reactions, subtly preparing for players for what is to come. A fearful glance towards a shadowy alleyway can signal that something sinister is lying in wait. Nervous fidgeting, wringing of the hands, or avoiding eye contact indicate that someone is lying. Also, subtle details like a merchant panicking and swiftly packing up their wares, coupled with a guard tightening their grip on a weapon, suggest something is about to kick off. Example: before a masquerade ball, a castle servant is slipping over their words and shaking when pressed to go through the guest list. What are they hiding? Have they secretly let in an assassin? Prediction: Prophecies, omens, or superstitions shape the way players interpret events within your adventure. A diviner's reading, spoken in cryptic riddles or half-truths, plants seeds of doubt and contributes to that sense of unease. This leaves players wondering whether they should be influenced by the reading or ignore it entirely. Moreover, an NPC's offhand remark about an ill-fated night, a curse book, or ancient legend may be eerily accurate. Example: a diviner lays their cards down on the table, one hand resting on the spread and the other on the deck. The river will sparkle as bright as a ruby tomorrow. Later, a town's river runs red with blood. An invading army is at the city's gate, and suddenly a moment of realization hits the players. Environment and weather. Environment, weather, and landscape changes set a specific tone and are an excellent way to foreshadow what is to come. A bright morning giving way to an unnatural fog indicates that something ominous is about to happen, or suggests that players have crossed over into another plane. Dying crops could symbolise blight and famine, or even foreshadow pestilence. A sudden drop in temperature can mean something is there, but unseen. In many stories, these cold spells are often associated with ghosts. Example: our heroes are approaching an abandoned keep. The forest around them is deathly silent. No birds sing, and the wind feels charged. A thick mist covers their boots and the gnarled roots of ancient trees. Every step forward deepens a sense of unease. Something is watching them. Symbolism. Symbols can be woven into physical objects, like architecture and suits of armour. However, they can be more psychological and include dreams that hint at hidden truths. Symbols can also take the form of animals. Remember the ravens I used in my adventure? Even colours carry hidden meanings that can be gradually revealed as the adventure progresses. Example: a royal crest features a serpent eating its tail. As the adventure progresses, it is revealed that the city's ruler is engaging in dark rituals that require an energy source. The king uses his citizens to fuel his rituals and imprisons magic users to extract their magical energy. These actions mirror the royal crest of the serpent eating its tail, as a king is using his subjects for his wicked deeds. So those are the different types of foreshadowing techniques, but how exactly do you write them into your adventure? Well, fortunately, I've got some helpful pointers on that. Get your story beats worked out first. What I mean by this is write your adventure and then add the foreshadowing in as part of the editing process. Of course, sometimes you may have already written in some foreshadowing in your initial draft, but I always recommend refining. Be subtle. This one is obvious, but don't drop hints at a pending plot point too heavily. If you're concerned that your foreshadowing is predictable, consider placing it elsewhere in your adventure, or choose a foreshadowing technique that's less obvious. Tie up loose ends. Remember Chekhov's gun? Don't leave loose story threads hanging. Tie them off. You always need to have a payoff. Depending on the complexity of what I'm writing, I keep notes on what I've introduced and when. I know it sounds overwhelming, but this is why we edit, so we can look over our writing with fresh eyes and catch what we missed. Let your players enjoy it. Reward players for role-playing and what they think will happen. Correct assumptions deserve inspiration or maybe some free loot. If they don't guess correctly, don't shoot them down. You could reward them in a smaller way for at least trying. Next time you plan your adventure, consider how you will signal future plot points. Will you use a diary or character expression? Also, if you found this video helpful, please do like and subscribe, as it's an entirely free way to support the channel, so more people like you can find it. Anyway, that's all for today, folks, and I'll see you in the next one.